Hello, welcome back to the House of the Dragon reviews. So, we're gonna do episode 6 today. I just got finished watching this recently, just in the past almost half an hour or so. This episode actually came out at 2 p.m. and it's the public holiday, so I was actually able to watch it earlier. As to why it kind of looks like it's earlier, but I just did that so it looks prettier, you know. I don't usually do daytime reviews, but yeah. So it came out earlier for me, and I didn't know it came out at 2 p.m. And so yeah, there's that. But the actual review, right? House of Dragon episode 6. So I've reviewed all the other episodes. Do I think this episode is still as? Do I think this episode's good? Yeah, I think the show is still good for me. I think the acting is still good. I think everything about it is good. It isn't like a masterpiece per se, but it is going good so far. But in this episode, Rhaenyra grows older. Rhaenyra grows older, and then you also have her. She's given birth. She has a baby. There's like this giant time jump where Rhaenyra is older now. She was never old. She was never older like this in the other episodes because progressively she gets older and older, I guess. And then you have the king. The king, like you thought the king died, but he passed out because like he's losing hair and all this stuff. So there's that, and then there's also like Alicent becomes the queen to Viserys, the King Viserys. So she becomes the queen in this episode, and her actor has changed as well, but that doesn't matter. Right? The actors are still good. I think the actors are still doing a good performance. There's that, and still a bit of an hour long episode there, and you learn about how Damon's character comes into it. There's also Aegon, which is like the son of he's like Aegon Targaryen. He's like the son or like this. He's like to do with the Targaryens, like to do with Rhaenyra and all that. And then he has like this fight with this kid, and he goes a bit too far. And then Christian Cole, I think his name. So Christian Cole. He's that knight that wanted to be marry Rhaenyra in the last episode, but there's all that, it still has that political shenanigans where there's like drama and stuff like that. But I don't think this doesn't feel like a soap opera kind of drama. The acting is fine. The whole episode that is like that. The whole episode is just about that. Like story continues. You have more things going on, and you see how Rhaenyra gets older, and and I just remember when there was this thing about how the show is gonna attack attack Trump supporters and stuff. Stop it. Stop that. That stuff I don't care about it, right? The drama behind the scenes doesn't matter, right? And the show, I'm still gonna watch House of the Dragon. I'm still gonna watch it. But do I think this episode is as good as episode 5? Yeah, the episode is decent, but there is less action. It's more like a talking and doing all that kind of thing, and then the Queen has Rhaenyra has a little speech, and you know Alicent has that, and then Rhaenyra's the person she married or whatever, like she has a baby, all that stuff, yeah, and she actually was bleeding through the episode as well, like she was bleeding throughout the whole episode, well, for majority of the time anyway. And then there's like this guy in the movie. There's actually this guy in the movie or the show as well in the episode, and he's quite crazy. He tortures these people and all that stuff, which is kind of crazy. Like this guy basically took this guy's tongue off, and then he went into this dungeon and all that stuff. And there's actually more dragons in this episode, which I noticed. And like when you shout the name of his like Dragiris Maximus or something like that, and then it just goes. Bit of a coincidence because recently I've been getting into the Hobbit movies again, and I had Smaug. But the dragons, they're getting more dragons in this show, and we're still building up to that war, that Targaryen civil war that we're going to see. I'm going to assume at the end of the season, but I think the show is going well, and I hope the show get just becomes better and better and better. And the finale episode, the season finale at least, I hope it's going to be good till the very end. If 60, like the first two episodes they were, they were alright, but the 3, 4, and 5 just banger after banger after banger. Like these episodes have been really good. There's been no bad episodes, and I definitely think House of the Dragon has definitely been one of the better shows I've seen this year. Because there's other shows which I have mentioned before, but I've covered that I've said there's some shows that are pretty average and stuff like that, but it's just like really interesting how I still haven't seen Game of Thrones, and I think that's the reason why I've been like really into this show, because I haven't seen Game of Thrones. I've never read George R. R. Martin's books. I've never read the Fire and Blood or the Dance with Dragons or anything I like none of that. And then there's that, right? And then there was actually this part in the episode where Matt Smith, Damon's character, like his wife or the person he's in love with, actually has a baby as well, but it's like blood, and she actually gets the dragon to kill her basically, and he got really sad, and all these like just I don't know what it is about it, but this show just has so many necessary moments, and it's really good. Like I just like I'm trying to form any other thing that I can say about it, but the actor changing the two actors. So to sum it up, the two actors changing from getting a bit older and stuff like that does not affect it at all, which is decent, right? The actors are actually good, right? Matt Smith, he doesn't kind of steal the show in this episode because there's other events and all that, but he doesn't steal the show, but he's still good in this. There's that. Then you also have like that stuff, and I think just like the whole King Viserys, the children, all that, her having the children, it all makes sense, it all comes together, and I think, there's actually this part in the episode where Aegon jerks himself off and all that, and that kind of symbolises, how people would be in those days, and the show just continues to prove why this would happen in this sort of setting. So that's kind of my overview of this episode. I would give it about 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10. It's really cool how you just don't need action to make something good, as long as they're good acting. There's good acting, there's good storytelling and good structure to the story and good substance. That's all you need, I guess. Because you don't always need action. Action is epic. But just I actually can't wait for the Targaryen Civil War, because it's going to prove how the show is just gonna move. And I might think about getting the book, but that is pretty much it for the review. Let me know what you thought. If you're watching House of the Dragon like me, watching it weekly, let me know if you think it's good as well. If you think it's bad, right? Because there's people out there who actually don't want to watch the show due to this stuff behind the scenes, right? As I mentioned, forget all of that. If you forget all of that, you're gonna have a good time, right? And don't try not to watch. Like, just try and have an open mind with this one, because there's exceptions. With Rings of Power, seen 17 minutes of that, and that was just God Almighty. Never speak of it again. Holy moly! Right, barely anything happened in 17 minutes, and House of the Dragon, a lot of things happened, but that's it. Hope you enjoyed the review. More of my ramblings continue indeed. I'll see you next week for another review of House of the Dragon. Stay tuned for the next James Ramblin review. Stay tuned for the next the new James Ramblin show episode, where I dive into more school sort of stuff. So yeah, bye. Bye.